Welcome to What a Creep, the show with Margot Donohue and Sonia Mansfield talking about creeps from the past to the present.
This is your quick guide to the biggest creeps, jerks, assholes, and losers, the best of the worst.
From two nice ladies who want the world to be a little less creepy.
Welcome back to What a Creep. This is Margot Donohue, and my cohort in creepitude, as always, is the amazing Sonia Mansfield. Hey, Sonia.
Hello, my friend.
Hello, my friend. We are the podcast that talks about creeps from the past to the present. Today, we're doing something a little different. It's sort of similar to what we did a few weeks ago, which is an episode about pick-me girls and cool girls. We are talking about nice guys and wife guys in this episode. Sonia will be leading that discussion. But first... we're always looking for suggestions for creeps and also non-creeps. We always end the show with somebody who is not a creep. I think you'll like today's non-creep today, Sonia.
I hope so. I
didn't tell you what it is. You're going to have to find out like everybody else.
Ooh, okay.
We have a basic Facebook page. That's where people go to complain about our language. This is your warning. We use salty language in this program.
Fuck yeah.
We're much more interactive in our private Facebook group. We do have you answer questions to join the group. And 99.9% of y'all are amazing. Occasionally one sneaks in and asks something dumb. But that's where Sonia and I are the most interactive. We talk about creeps there. We talk about pop culture, things happening in the news, yada, yada, yada.
Yes.
But you can also
it's
find
the best.
us. Yes. You can also find us on social media at Twitter. We are at CreepPod because somebody had What a Creep on Twitter for over 10 years, but never used it.
Great.
And we're on Threads, Instagram, and Blue Sky at What a Creep Podcast. And we have an old timey email, whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. And if you would like some stickers, give us your address and we will send them out to you in the mail wherever you are.
She'll do it.
I'll do it on the planet of Earth. I will get them out to you. Sonia, do you want to talk about the website?
Yeah, go to whatacreeppodcast.com and it's everything you want to know about the podcast, but we're afraid to ask. You can click on each of those posts and it opens up and you'll see our show notes, or you can like swipe left or right on your app and you can see our show notes because we source everything we do. We're not making this stuff up. We want to give people credit for the work they've done. If you're looking for a deeper dive on any of our creeps, great place to start. Do that. There's also a link to our merch shop where you can get t-shirts and tote bags and face masks and calendars. And I don't know if you can get calendars actually, but maybe
we can look into it.
Yeah. So definitely check that stuff out. And there's a link to our Patreon. You want to tell them about that, Margot?
Yes, Patreon. We have our first 9 seasons on that Patreon wall. 9! Lucky number 9. I love 9. That's my favorite number.
I did not know that. Mine is 4.
Yours is 4, really?
Mm-hmm.
Interesting. What's your favorite number out there? Reach out to us and let us know.
What's your favorite color?
We also put out 2 bonus episodes a month on Patreon, and we do them via video. We record our Skype session so you can see what we look like and how we react to one another. It's super fun.
What else? Fun.
What else, Sonia? Are we all good? Is that everything?
I think so. Yeah, well, that sounds right.
We thank everybody that's a Patreon member. You can also sign up for free because we post stuff there for our other shows, which is Dorking Out. We post trailers and stuff like that there. So you can sign up for free and just check out what we've got. But thank you to everybody that supports us. We totally appreciate. And another way you can help us, if you want to help us, is to leave a review wherever you get your podcast.
Yes. If you want to help us.
Whatever. You do you, y'all.
It's true.
You do you.
Can't please everyone.
We have to be who we are. I am what I am. You are who you are. Yep. Okay, Sonia.
Let's do it.
Talk about today's episode. I am eager for this discussion.
Yeah, this is going to be fun. A little different than we normally do. We're just going to have a little topic here. We're going to talk about nice guys and wife guys. It's like a little companion piece to our pick me girls and cool girls. So I want to start off by saying that, like, we understand hashtag not all men. Like, this is not all men. We're not saying all men are like this. We're talking about a certain subset of men. Okay. So we're going to divide it up into 2 parts and we'll have a nice chat. Okay. So sources for this episode, because again, I didn't make this all up. It's a thing that exists. BuzzFeed, F the Nice Guy podcast. There is, I linked this in here for fun. There's a segment, like a filmed segment for Saturday Night Live called Girl at the Bar. So go ahead and check that one out if you want. Jezebel, The List, Motherly, The New York Times, and of course, Wikipedia for Nice Guy Syndrome and Wife Guy, both on Wikipedia.
Oh, interesting.
So, yeah, it's a thing, y'all. So we're going to start with nice guys. Okay. So nice guys, I'm not like other guys. I'm a nice guy. I'm not some creep. I'm a nice guy, which is very similar to our pick me girl, right? Like, I'm not like other girls. I'm a cool girl, kind of thing. If it sounds like that, it's because they're kind of pick me guys. They want to be picked, but when he isn't, he shows his true colors.
Mm-hmm.
So you've probably heard, nice guys, nice guy syndrome, toxic good guy. It's used to describe a man who believes that like he is the standard prototype of a decent guy. I'm a nice man. I'm a nice guy. And as a result, he is entitled to your affection. He is entitled to relationships with you. And he's put on this nice guy persona for you, and therefore he should be rewarded with sex, basically. And when he doesn't get it, he lashes out. So y'all have probably met a lot of nice guys in your life. Margot, have you met some nice guys in your life?
Just as you started talking, I remember someone that my sister picked up this guy at a bar here in Brooklyn, and he was the total nice guy, and he was constantly calling her all the time.
Mm-hmm.
And he would do things like he would come over and help me out, do things like at the last minute. There was never any kind of stuff between us. But I noticed when he was interested in other women, my sister lived cross country, so that didn't work out long. He would get very aggressive and really like they could not give him no for an answer.
Right.
And he would get really angry about it. Like, I'm a good guy. Why are they saying no to me? And it's like, they had their reasons. It's okay.
Yeah.
But
well, they
he
don't care
really
about
thought well, I helped her move a couch. So why is she not?
That's it.
Yeah.
Right there. Like, I was nice to you. I did XYZ.
Mm-hmm.
Now come and ride this dick. And it's like, no,
we
I don't want to.
Great conversation.
Yeah.
Give me your number.
Now come. Yeah. No, that's not how it works. Like, I know that, like, I definitely had male friends that were hoping that would turn into they make their move and I'm like, no thanks, and then they don't want to be my friend anymore.
Yep.
And it's like, these are the kind of guys, again, hashtag not all men, these are the guys who get pissed when a woman puts them and they'll talk about it, into the friend zone. It's like they basically pretend to be a woman's friend until she's like, no thanks, and then he gets angry and he says shitty things to her.
This is all below deck, by the way.
Yes,
all below
every
deck
episode
all
of
the
Below
time.
Deck.
Yes.
So good transition, because I was going to go into some like nice guys in pop culture. Ducky from Pretty in Pink is the perfect example of this. Ducky is like friends with Andy, but like with Molly Ringwald's character and John Cryer's characters, like they are like best friends, but he's clearly in love with her. He doesn't really make his move though. He's just being friends with her. But the minute she likes someone else, he says the most awful shit to her and he stops being her friend.
He's a teenager. We'll give him that much grace.
Yes.
Your hormones are all over the place. We're not talking about if you're super young, we're not shitting on you. You're just figuring it out like the rest of us.
You're just figuring it out, just like we talked about with Pick Me Girls and Cool Girls.
But it was a grown man who wrote that part. Let's remember that.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yes. And there is still like a lot of people are like, I'm a Ducky fan, blah, blah. And I'm like, because we did a whole episode on dorking out about this. And I was like, Ducky doesn't stand up very well to me. Anyway, like if y'all watch Buffy the Vampire Slayer, Xander was like that on Buffy the Vampire Slayer, the TV show.
Hi, love.
He also
What did he say?
What?
Does he say hi, love? He says,
Well, his whole thing is like Xander on Buffy the Vampire Slayer. You might be thinking of Spike.
I'm thinking of Spite. Yes.
yeah,
I gave
okay,
my friend
Xander-
a cameo from him.
Oh, no. Xander is the like regular guy who is in love with Buffy, but like he's like her friend. And when she doesn't like him, he gets very mad. And it happens repeatedly on that show. Ross on Friends is kind of like
Ugh.
that.
Ross is such a horrible character.
Like he, pines after Rachel for years. He doesn't ask her out. He's shitty to everyone she dates. They were very odd. He was awful to her the whole show when you go back and watch it. But again, whatever. Pretty much every male character in the movie, promising young woman.
Yes.
They all put up a front about how nice they are. They're trying to be helpful to her, blah, blah, blah. But really, they're just trying to get laid against without consent, by the way, is the whole thing in that movie. So y'all share I'm sure there's like y'all have your list, so share it in
Please.
our Facebook group. I would love to hear like your characters that you know about, or even your own stories. Just leave their names out, whatever. So these nice guys, they are all convinced that they're all interested in dating women who, well, first they try to manipulate these women, but when the women turn them down, they'll say things like, well, she just wants a bad boy, or she only likes men who are shitty to her, or, it's because she has daddy issues. It's always on the
She's
woman.
crazy. That's what
She's crazy, and she's
a
crazy.
guy. I know guys that, for me, my red flag guys that describe all their past relationships with crazy women. Like, I attract crazy women.
Yes.
No,
exactly.
thank you.
And by the way, they only do this with like with the friend like that they're attracted to. Like
Right.
only attractive women are worth being nice to.
Exactly.
Other women, they are super shitty too. And these self-proclaimed nice guys are actually like just as toxic as the men that they pretend that they're not.
Because they're phonies.
Yes, because they're phony. Exactly. So, anytime you hear a dude that says like she only likes bad boys, or they say nice guys finish last, like, dude, it just means you got rejected, and you can just be okay with being rejected. Look, not everyone's going to like you.
No, not everyone's going to find you sexy. Not,
No.
Get over it. It's okay.
It's not.
That validation you need is just weird.
Yeah, they say this thing about like, well, it's because I'm not ripped, or I'm not this,
I'm
or
not rich.
I'm not rich. I'm not, and it's like, it's none of those things. It really could just be, she's just not into you, dude.
They don't
It's
vibe.
just
They're
that
not
simple.
vibing.
That's all it is. So whatever. And also, if you're like one of these like nice guys, and the kind we put in quotes, that shit's not real. And a lot of people can pick up that vibe. We know when you're not being your authentic self, and we're not interested in that.
Right.
So, and then a lot of these nice guys, the other reason I wanted to talk about it was there is like a political thing going on, as there is with everything nowadays, which is why I linked to the girl at the bar sketch on SNL, because it like exaggerates it obviously for comedic effect, but it's really accurate in that it's a woman. She's sitting at the bar alone. She's waiting for her friend. And like these like seemingly sensitive male feminists keep coming up to her and hitting and they're just like wearing their future as female shirts, or their pussy hats and all this.
God.
Yeah, I worked for Hillary, and eventually they like they make her comfortable, and then they hit on her, and it like, when she turns them down, all of them are like, bitch, and like they lose their shit. And it's, it's
happened to all of us.
Yes. And it's like, well, I didn't want to fuck you anyway. That sort of thing. Like, you're an ugly bitch. And the sketch is funny, but it's also, there's that kernel of truth.
Kernel?
So they're kernel. Like, there's this other thing going on now with like what I read it in a few different articles of the idea of the quote unquote woke misogynist. So it's like they pretend to be feminist. They pretend to be really like, I'm not racist, I'm not this, I'm not those things. And then, but they're very quick to like cry hashtag not all men when faced with their own misogyny or, that sort of thing.
Our first or second season, we did an episode. I covered it. It was Jayan Gomeshi, who was a Canadian host.
Yeah.
He was very popular in Canada. Just kidding. I was thinking of JD Vance, Haysha. Anyway, he was he was like the Terry Gross of Canada. He's like, he has a daily talk show, was very, very popular. And he was famous because two things. He was in a 90s one-hit wonder kind of band, Moxie Frugus or something like that. And also that he had his college degree was in feminism. So it was women's studies. So whenever he had a woman on his show, he would start talking and then he would almost always drop, oh, I have my degree is in women's studies, blah, blah, blah. So that's supposed to make us like, oh,
yes,
he's not like the other boys. He's much more understanding. And then it turns out he was credibly accused by dozens of women of choking them and beating them and being a total shithead. We probably will replay that one day because it's the epitome of that. Like it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Exactly. And these nice guys are, first of all, it's like the whole idea of performative allyship, which pisses me off.
Right.
Like, I hate that shit. And then I've seen like a rise in people talking about this, and it's always been around, like this sort of thing. But women have put up with the idea of nice guys for a really long time. Like it's one of those things that like we've all just accepted as part of being a woman. And then I think with the Me Too movement,
sometimes it's hard to be a woman.
Stand by your man. But I think with the Me Too movement, we definitely started talking about it more out loud with each other. But then I'm seeing more articles about it now, not just because it's starting to get outside of just women, because something that's happening is a lot of these quote unquote nice guys are actually slipping into like incel and like red pill movements, that like anti-feminist manosphere. They're being recruited by those kinds of organizations, and that stuff tends to go alt-right, and it tends to go super fucking racist. Surprise. So it starts with I'm being a nice guy and I can't get laid, to like now I'm an incel, to alt-right. Like there's a path there that, and again, it's linked in the show notes, so if y'all want to do a deeper dive, you could do that. And then we have wife guys. And
you
have
the stories about this.
I'm going to get into that. So a wife guy is a guy who like his fame and his and branding kind of, so there's famous white guys, and then there's like not famous white guys, and that's maybe like their branding, their image is largely dependent on the fact that he is married. Like, like I'm in love with the woman I married, and here's why she's so great. It's like, imagine that. Like having a wife is part of their shtick.
It lacks sincerity.
Yes, exactly. So they're not just guys who are married. They're like guys who won't shut up about being married, and they're so grateful to have these wives, and I'm going to put emphasis on the word have. They have her. So wife guys include, we talked about this one in a bonus episode, this guy, the Try guy, Fred Fulmer.
Yes.
Ned Fulmer. He built his whole personal brand on like how much he loves his wife. And if you don't know who the Try guys are, it's like a PG rated jackass. Like they're like, and then I put on the machine that mimics labor. They try things and they film it and it's on YouTube and it's very popular. And this guy, Ned, was married to her name was Ariel, and their whole thing was like how much they were in love and how much he was just like, I love her. She's the best. I'm so lucky. I suck, but I have this amazing wife. And they like wrote a cookbook together about their, like, he used her to like build up his
Absolutely.
image,
Yes. Yes.
She was
an
then,
accessory.
yes, and he posts stuff all the time on social media where he's like, my amazing wife, one of my favorite, my wife. Yeah, they did some live shows and he's like, one of my favorite moments from the tour was seeing Ariel after, backstage after opening night because she supported me and I'm the luckiest man of the world. Blah, 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 blah. But like at the time he was cheating on her. He was having an affair with one of his coworkers.
Of course.
Like it's like, it's again performative. It's all about,
we're all supposed to look at how great he is because he's so grateful to be married to this woman, and it's completely just him.
Yeah.
It's an accessory for him. It's like having a Rolex watch or something.
Yes.
You always have to ask him what time it is. I mean, yeah.
Yeah. And then like another example is Maroon 5 singer Adam Levine. Like
this guy.
He was, I think he's still married. I think they worked it out. His always talking about how much he loves his wife. By the way, she's beautiful.
She's a model. Yeah.
She's a supermodel. Beautiful. Always like, I'm so lucky because I'm, I love women and I love my wife. She's my wife. She's the best in the world. Does music videos called like Girls Like You. And he like, it stars his wife and his child. And he's like, very much like playing that up. And meanwhile, he's like sliding into the DMs of like everyone on social media and cheating on his very pregnant wife, including asking one of the women that he was having an affair with if he could use her name for their new baby.
His wife's baby. He wanted his mistress to give the okay,
like,
to use
I'm gonna
her name
yes
for his new daughter.
Yes.
Ugh.
Gross.
That's so gross.
I think Ryan Reynolds gives off wife guy vibes.
And nice guy vibes too.
Yeah, both. I feel like he's given off a vibe.
Yeah.
John Mulaney was someone who also was a big wife guy. Like his entire like early stand-up routines were built around his wife.
I've seen him several times and he always brought her up. Always. And they also always talked about neither one of them wanted kids.
Yes.
And they were all about their dog. And this is what he brought up all the time. And then the rumor is that he's been playing around for years.
Yeah. And then he had addiction issues and stuff like that too. But like eventually like he left his wife and almost immediately he's with Olivia Munn and he has a baby and whatnot. And I will say I've seen like John Mulaney's stand-up specials and I would, I guess, describe him now as maybe a reformed wife guy because like his routines aren't like still based on the wife. He's not making those same jokes. So, but if you had asked me like 3 years ago, John Mulaney would have been the perfect example of a wife guy.
Yeah.
Like those, and by the way, those early routines, they're really funny.
He's one of the funniest comedians ever. He just crafts his material so beautifully. It totally lasts. It totally holds up. And he's great live. If you ever get a chance to see him, go.
Yeah, he is someone who is a naturally funny person.
Absolutely.
But if you watch those early specials, it's a lot about my wife this, my wife that. She said this, she said that.
And she's so beautiful and she has great taste and she's an artist and blah, blah, blah. He also had like a baby face. So he always like presented much younger than he was. So I think that was a part of it. Like, I'm so innocent and
yes.
Yeah. He's a little more mature now.
Yeah. And then, this person's not as famous, but I think they're a good example. So in like 2017, this man named Robbie Tripp took an Instagram photo with his wife, and he's like, I love this woman and her curvy body.
Oh, no.
And do you know what I'm talking about?
Go.
And
I
it's
forget, though. Go, keep going.
Okay. He had a Twitter account. So it was like curvy wife guy, that quote unquote. This was the thing. And he would just like write about himself, like his journey toward feminism and body positivity, but it's all about his wife's body. And it's like, this is the very definition of a wife guy. Like, he has monetized his love for his wife.
My wife. I'm sorry.
My wife. He built his whole fucking career off of it. Like, he crafted the whole persona, like, about his wife's body. Like, and now that's his whole personality. He's like released like novelty rap songs called like Chubby Sexy, and it's all about his wife. And
no, thank you.
It's fucking weird, man. I don't get that, but whatever.
I really like fucking her. Like, okay.
Yeah, it's like, oh, okay.
All right. You do you, but I don't have to hear about it all the time.
In one of the New York Times articles I linked to in the show notes, they actually compare wife guys to incels, which I thought was really interesting because nice guys can slide into that as well.
Mm-hmm.
But wife guys, it's like, well, incels define themselves as men who like can't find a partner. They have that like inability to find a partner.
Yeah, well, stop being an asshole.
Yeah, right. No. I deserve to get laid even if I'm an asshole because I'm a man. But like wife guys like define themselves by having found one. Like and they want to be congratulated for it. So like I've done the bare fucking minimum and found a woman. Money, please. Like I'm like, that's not how it works. And then there's on top of that, you have like like a lot of public figures, celebrities, politicians.
Yep.
They love to be seen as a wife guy.
John, what's his face? We did an episode on him.
John Edwards.
Yes. Not the psychic.
Like, no. The politician. They want that it makes them seen as trustworthy and non-threatening, like to have a wife. So
I'm sure
like,
Bill Clinton used that. He's such a sleaze.
100%.
Such a sleaze. He went after Hillary's friends. I'm sure. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
I mean, let's be real. Obama could slide into this. Like he is always like it's pretty close. It's pretty close. So we see a lot of these guys do their like wife guy routine and then they end up cheating on their wives. And we're like, that's so weird. Like when the John Mulaney stuff came out, everyone was like,
shocking.
What?
I know. And then people made fun of people for being shocked. But it's like, if you followed his career, it was a 180. I mean, because I'm sorry, let me go back to him for just a sec.
Yeah.
He was on Saturday Night Live. He had his own sitcom that wasn't good at all.
Mm-hmm.
And then he was trying to figure out what to do. And then COVID hits and he works for his friend Seth Meyers, but he didn't have a regular schedule and it just sent him into this tail, which we didn't know because it's COVID and you don't know what people are going through. But his addiction issues came up and he just turned into a very different person. He's probably that person the whole time. He was just trying to fit into an image to keep sober, maybe. I don't know.
Yes.
Yeah.
And this is why we were talking about I have stories. Like, these guys end up cheating on their wives and we're all shocked. And it's like, because I thought he loved her so much because he talks about her all the time. And we're talking about this because I was married to a wife guy. I truly believe this. Like, I think he might have been a wife guy. Like I feel like he was very happy to be chosen. He felt like I felt like he built a lot of personality around me. I could hear him on work calls talking about me and repeating my jokes and all of those things.
Can I say something as your friend?
Yeah. Yes.
You are a very dynamic, funny person. You're very noticeable. Like you're
Thank you, friend.
you know, you really are. You're a really wonderful person. You're smart. You're funny. And the way you dress and present yourself is very much like the Sonia show, which is like you have a lot of ebullience about you. And
Yeah.
your husband, ex-husband, did not. And I think like you were the personality for him. And perhaps he resented that at some point.
That's exactly
which is not your fault, by the way.
Yeah, and then it turned into a thing, and when we split, people were like, "What? I thought he loved her so much." It was like people were literally shocked I mean, it's been years and people are still like, "I can't believe it." And I'm like, like, I don't know what happened there. But like, yeah, it could be it was just there was a resentment, I'm sure. And also the reason I was going to bring it up too was because the bars can be set so low
Exactly.
for some straight men, hashtag not all men,
white straight men.
Yeah, in particular. So for example, my ex-wife guy, Mr. PTA, so involved in school stuff, like literally president of the PTA, surrounded by women who were gushing over him for participating. Like I would go to like the school fundraisers and they would be like, "He's like the only man there. He's so amazing." And I was like, and they're praising him. And I was like, yeah, it's very sweet that he does that. But also, girl, where's your praise? You're there every week too.
Right.
Why is he getting so much praise for doing the same thing you're doing?
Right.
But they don't. Yeah.
But Louis C.K., who's not a nice guy or a white guy, but we all know that. But
yeah,
I remember when before it was publicly found out, it was talked about for years, but he was, when he was doing Louis, he was doing one of these television, they used to do that twice a year, right? The television conference. Yeah. What was it called?
Oh, the Television Critics Association.
Yeah, the upfronts.
Yeah.
So he was going to one of I heard somebody talking about it. It was a television writer, and he had to do it from his car because he's divorced and he was taking his daughters to camp. And like he's like, "This is my time." And these women reporters who do this for a living and talk to people all the time, splooging themselves over, "Oh my God, he's driving them to camp. He acts all ornery, but he's actually a big teddy bear." It's like he's taking his kids to camp, which is what parents do. I'm sorry.
I can't. No, I'm getting so all like angry. Because I could have thrown in here and I didn't, and think about it until just what you were talking about, the idea of girl dads.
Yeah.
Ugh. But really, it's just like dads doing dad stuff. Like when a dad parents the way we expect mothers to parent, we throw them a fucking parade.
Yeah.
And it's like, and they want, and some dudes want that parade too. And when they don't get it,
they're resentful.
Yeah. So these are the kind of guys that are like want a fucking cookie because they quote unquote babysat their own children.
Right.
You know, it's like, ugh, grow up. And that's a good example of what's so icky about the wife guys. It's like, first of all, their love for their wife is really centered on themselves.
Yeah.
So there's that. And
it's a reflection on them.
Yes. And then the bar is so low that we praise them for loving the person that they agreed to love. It's like you stood up in front of all these people and got married and promised to love them, and you're actually doing it? Wow, good job, you. Here's your cookie. Good job, wife guy, on loving your partner that you agreed to love.
Yes.
That's amazing.
No gun to your head. I mean,
no. And this is why this shit pisses me off. And this is why nice guys piss me off, why wife guys piss me off. And now we'll just throw like performative dads in there too. Why not? Like, it's a performative allyship.
Mm-hmm.
I think wife guys are lazy. I'm like, it's easier for them to like use their wife as a material for their shtick.
Yep.
And and use her brains and her charm to
Versus
build
getting
you up.
your own personality.
Yes.
Mm-hmm.
Like, instead of working on yourself.
Yep.
These guys will also like use their wives as a shield. Like, I'm safe because I'm married.
And that's an age of a woman where you realize it doesn't matter if he's married or not. He could be a total fucking sleaze and will say something shitty any second.
Yes.
Yes.
Like, they will definitely, some married men, some wife guys
Not all married men.
No, use their marriage to get closer
to women,
and manipulate them.
I'm so great. I got somebody to marry me.
Yes.
That makes me better than that single guy over there.
Yes.
Yes.
Exactly. And by the way, it goes both ways.
It does.
There are definitely women who are married who do the same thing. Like, so yes, we could lump them in there too. And nice guys, like, if you're only nice to a woman because you find her attractive and you want something from her, that's not really nice.
No,
you're not nice.
It's a transaction.
And it's like, maybe you should just be nice to women because they're human beings and we should be kind to each other. I know it's weird, but
I know that's bizarre, Sonia. I don't know if that will ever catch on.
Yeah, and just because you don't get what you want from her, like, it just means she's not that into you. Like,
right.
It's not because you need to be ripped or you need to be rich, or it doesn't have to be those things. Like, and then these men, they'll complain, like, they'll say, like, women say they want a nice guy, but what we really want are bad boys. And it's like, no, what we want is a good man.
Yes.
And there's a difference.
Yes.
And a good man knows it.
A real good man.
Yes. Knows that there's a difference between a nice guy and a wife guy.
Right.
A good man knows the difference. And I want us to know the difference.
Right.
Women.
And have that standard.
Yeah. And I know, and like, the bar doesn't need to be so low that we're like, congrats on loving your wife. Or, hey, congrats on treating me with kindness until you find out I don't want to ride your dick.
Right. And I'm not saying don't open a door for people, of course. But that's just polite. I do.
By
that
the way,
I
I open doors for people all the time. I don't care if they're men or women.
And I always say thank you if somebody does for me. Yes.
Yes. And I know that, like, this episode is like super heteronormative. Like, I'm predominantly talking about like straight men and straight women, and I know these things to be true. And I honestly don't know a lot about the dynamic of what that's like in the gay community and the transgender community. I'd be curious to know it. So if any of our listeners can tell me if there's a wife guy, nice guy
equivalent in the
that
like, would be interesting.
Like, are there like nice girls and wife girls? And I don't.
That's all that tradition. We're definitely going to do an episode on trad wives because that's been on my list for a while. But yeah, there are absolutely women that are just like, this is my role. It's to be a mother, and I'm going to be the best one that's ever been. Yeah. And my awesome husband, who's a girl dad's going to help me. And those couples split up all the time. It's too much pressure.
Yeah. And by the way, if you want to be a trad wife, that's fine.
Be you.
Yeah,
you want to be a cool girl? Be a cool girl.
Yeah.
Go right the fuck ahead. We're just going to judge you, and we're allowed to. People are allowed to. I don't
want policy based on it. That's all. I don't want policy based on that shit. And that's why I'm worried about the nice guy as they like kind of slide into this like really hateful, like alt-right shit. They're trying to swing policy and like enforce like really fucked up laws. This is how we get like Roe v. Wade overturned. This is how we get segregated schools back. This is how we get rid of no-fault divorce. Like, all of these things are starting with why won't she fuck me? And it's turning into this whole other thing
And I
where
have,
they're gonna fuck the whole country because they can't get fucked.
I'm like, a part of me is just like, you need to just get a personality. You need to have hobbies. Those things are very important in your life to meeting people who like the things you like.
Yeah.
If you're just going home, waking up, going to work, coming home and watching TV and going to bed, it's not enough. That's just, you got to get out in the world a little bit and find things that you're interested in.
Yes.
And that's going to help you with your self-esteem. It's going to help you feel good about yourself. It's going to fill up your schedule so you don't feel alone.
Yeah.
No woman is entitled, that stuff really, like, people weaponize that whole loneliness movement.
Yes.
To the point, like, well, why aren't women just giving guys a chance? Like, are you kidding me? Look at Sex in the City. I used to drive me crazy with Sex in the City because I'm like, you don't have to say yes every time somebody asks you out.
Yeah.
You went out with them 2 times and it sucked. It's not going to get better the 3rd or 4th time. What else could you be doing with your time? But it's like, no, I have to date. I have to. I'm in my 20s. I'm in New York.
I have to.
And men are crazy. Okay. That's the way it is. Like, no, like, at some point I was just when you're not man-centered, I'm not man-centered anymore.
Right.
It's like, yeah.
Yeah. And there is definitely, like, while I was researching this, I saw articles that were basically like, okay, ladies, it's time for you to take a hit for the team and start sleeping with these dudes. And I'm like, LOL. No, we're not doing that anymore. We're not doing that work. Like, I'm not sleeping with dudes just because they want it. Sorry, that's not a good enough reason.
Right.
Like, no. And I already imagine we'll get someone who'll be like, I don't want to sleep with that fat bitch anyway. Well, you got me. Okay. Great. That's fine.
You're not hot enough for me. Okay. I seriously don't care. I have no hostility. I just don't care. It's not out of, I'm not going to bust. I've had so many disappointing experiences with men who are phony, who present one way and then you get to know them and then they're pissed because you don't ride along. I'm also kind of mouthy and I speak up for myself and I think that's part of my charm, but it intimidates some people. But
well, any dudes want to slide into my DMs or on my social media and say I'm a fat bitch that they wouldn't want to fuck anyway. Well, you better be careful because I'm going to play a little game I like to call, does the comment match the face? You may not like it. So,
which is why people do that on social media. You have to. This you?
This you?
This you?
I'm like, you're not going to like that game. You're not going to like it. So anyway, those are our creeps, nice guys and wife guys.
Good job, Sonia. That was a really fun conversation.
Oh, thank you.
All right. Oh, and by the way, it's Phyllis Schlafly. Just so you know. If you know, you know.
Yeah.
Okay. Sonia.
Yeah.
We lost one of the greats today.
We did.
Dame Margaret Natalie Smith. She is our non-creep this week. She is a part of the High Order of the British Empire. Mm-hmm. She is one of the best actors ever. And I will say actor, not actress, because it's not a gender job. She was born December 28th, 1934 in Essex, England. You may know her. Some of my favorite parts are The Prime of Miss Jean Brodie, A Room with a View. I didn't like Gosford Park, but that's not because of her. The Harry Potter films, Death on the Nile, Hook, Sister Act, The Secret Garden. Oh my God. This woman is Downton Abbey.
Sister Act.
She was great in Sister Act. Are you kidding?
She was. We did it. We
did an episode on it. We absolutely loved it. She's just one of the greatest actors of all time. I don't even have that much to say about her. She's just...
She really is. And like, y'all share your favorite movies in the group of hers. I imagine a lot of folks will come in with Downton Abbey and Harry Potter.
Was she in the First Wives Club too?
Oh,
I gotta look that up because yes, she was in the first. My sister and I have this thing on the First Wives Club We say fork like her, like she says in the movie when she's having lunch with Sarah Jessica Parker, going back to Sex and the City. She's just someone that she had an amazing career. She also just, had a personal life, but she was never like a party animal or anything like that. She was married to actor Robert Stevens for many years. She got divorced. And then she got remarried, and then he died in 1998. And she was asked if she was lonely, and she replied, "It seems a bit pointless going on one's own and not having someone to share it with." But she did have 5 grandchildren. That didn't go the way I expected it to. But but she was just like a super talented person, and I just think like her movies are incredible.
Clash of the Titans, 1981.
That's a great movie. We should do that one time for dorking
Murder
out.
by Death.
I mean,
California Suite.
Which we should also do that one.
Yes. So many good ones.
Yeah, she was also involved with charity work. She just was awesome. Let's just say this. She was just incredible. And she passed away today at the age of 89.
Wow.
And she had a long, storied career. She's one of the greats.
She is one of the greats.
Dame Maggie Smith.
R.I.P.
R.I.P. Go watch one of her movies this weekend, y'all.
Yeah.
The First Wives Club. Fork. If you like the sound of our voices, and by golly, why wouldn't you? We also co-host a show called Dorking Out, where we dork out about movies. Our current episode is... I'm going to stall and vamp a little bit. I can't remember. We do so many shows.
Well, we also are on reserved seating this week on YouTube. Part of this movie, we're talking about The Shawshank Redemption with Rob and Adam, which was super fun. Last week's episode was Office Space.
Yes, we did Office Space. And then this week, what are we doing, Sonia?
Shaun of the Dead.
Yay!
Which is celebrating its 20th anniversary. And also we're kicking off Scary Movie Month.
Yep.
It's time. 'Tis the season. One of my favorite seasons. It's going to be all scary movies. All in October. So we'll have to think of some good ones for What a Creep, or for Dorking Out. So if you have some, share it with us. We love Rex.
Look up Dorking Out Show on all the social medias. Those are places you can find us. And all those places I mentioned at the top of the show for What a Creep, social media wise. Send us your suggestions for creeps and also for non-creeps. We love it. We use the Annie Potts gift. We got one from Ghostbusters. Annie Potts, by the way, is on social media and posting pictures of herself throughout her life. And it's just been a goddamn delight. She's amazing.
She's a delight.
I love her. Our email, once again, is whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com. If you would like some stickers, send us your address. We will drop them in the mail for you. If you like us, please leave us a review wherever you get your podcasts. That would be amazing. Tell a friend about the show. All of that helps us find our people. Sonia, where can they find you?
You can find me at thesoniashow.com and The Sonia Show on Twitter and Instagram, Threads, Blue Sky, and TikTok. Careful, like I said, does the comment match the face? So keep that in mind. My friend, where can people find you?
I'm at brooklynfitchick.com, and I'm at brooklynfitchick for Threads and Instagram, and I'm at brooklynmargo for TikTok and Twitter. All right, everyone. Thank you so much for listening. We love it that you come back every week. We'll have a new episode next week. Sonia's birthday is next week, everybody. Woo! Prepare for that. It's Libra season, putting things in balance.
Season. Yay! It's the best time of the year.
It really is. It's a great time of the year. In the meantime, y'all, please stay safe, be good, be kind. Just don't be a creep.
Be a creep. Thank you for listening to us talk about creeps. You can follow us at What a Creep Podcast on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram.
But don't follow us too closely.
You can email us your creepy stories at whatacreeppodcast@gmail.com.
But please keep your dick pics to yourself.